All right, as it would always happen, one light doesn't work and one does. One will be plenty. It's nice and bright. That one, it's on. You can just see it's on. In fact, if I hit the switch, if I can do this with one hand. Yeah, there you can see it goes off. Yeah. These were on my truck. I've actually got, I think if I remember right, there's 2 spots and 2 wide angles floods. And then I've also got a light bar that would go all the way across. That would pull an insane amount of power. So I don't need that. As long as one of them works, I'm completely fine with that. So, yeah, just my luck. It's getting to the point now. I'm working at the motel. Normally, we're done work long before 5 p.m. And we're into the last week or so of February. So the sun is going down about 5. And if I got home by 6, I probably would still be in light. It takes me about an hour to get home. I just don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere and in the dark. I mean, I know the road well enough, but, it's nice to be able to see the bumps before you hit them. So I remember these lights were not, oh my God, so bright that, you could see the moon kind of thing. They'll be completely fine on here, though, because this only goes 12 miles an hour, so that'll be fine. Yeah, anyway. The other half, since the Trike is no longer solar powered, I'm running a cable from the solar panels to recharge the batteries. And yeah, we've got new batteries now. So, turn off my blinking light. All right, so turn off. This one is for the headlights. Turn off. Boop. And then the master switch. The flashing taillights come with the master switch. And let's see. Approximately a 48 volt system. There is 3 individual batteries that are wired in parallel. And each one of them is 48 volts. Max 52 or 51.8 or something like that. These are lithium iron phosphate, LiFePO4, for people that know what that means. I got these surplus from batteryhookup.com. Relatively inexpensive. They're rated at 20 amp hours each. I tested one battery first, and it didn't have enough amps to get me rolling on the Trike because the Trike is so heavy. It would get moving, but as soon as I hit the throttle, the battery would go offline, or the BMS. Or the voltage would sag enough that the motor controller would go offline. I wasn't fast enough to see which happened first. But with 3 batteries in parallel, they supply enough amps that I don't have to worry about it going offline. All right. Probably 2 would do it, but I had bought 3. I tested these yesterday. I had enough to get from here to Sierra Blanca and almost back on 3. Almost made it back. I mean, like maybe half a mile. And then I realized I was down to about 7%. And I'm like, okay, don't run them completely dead. And I would have made it, except I was coming up a little bit of a hill. So then I had a spare bike battery with me. But normally, I just wanted to push it to see how far they would go, right? So normally I would get to the motel where I work, and I could plug it in and top off the battery, and then I'd have enough to get home again. And then when I get home, I plug it in. So this battery is set up with 2 ports, basically. The big one is for discharge or load, and then the little blue one is the charging port. I don't have any of those connectors, so when I was early in testing, I put an Anderson that I do have on one of them, and that didn't really work right. And I think it's, after I thought about it, The charger I have is set up for lithium ion, not lithium iron phosphate. There's a difference. I mean, hence the name. But they charge differently, different profiles. So I think that threw off, either the charger got thrown off or the BMS itself in the battery got thrown off. Anyway, so what I did in the meantime, I've got a golf cart battery charger that's made for lithium iron phosphate. And since I don't have the connectors for the charging port, I just charge them through the discharge port, which is not ideal because the BMS isn't looking for input power on the discharge port. So it would never kick off, basically. So in the meantime, I can bulk charge it with the golf cart battery charger. Get it up to about 90% or so, watch the voltage, and then just shut it off. But that means I have to watch it. But for today, since it's a sunny day and I had time, this is off of the system I had on the 22 state ride. I can set the top voltage, and then it'll just charge until it gets to there and stop automatically. So that's pretty much ideal for this. So I got that running off of these panels. This is approximately 320 watts, I think. I think so. It's putting out about 20 volts anyway. And then that charge controller is a special for e-bike charge controller. It'll take the 20 volts and kick it up to 52 volts. For the batteries. So it's an up-converting charge controller, which is backwards. Usually your panels put out about 20 volts going into a 12-volt battery, right? So it steps down, so you have to find one that'll do the step up. Normally, I would plug this into the AC charger, leave it in the house, and be done, but the last week or so, I noticed my solar wasn't working right, and I haven't had time to really fully troubleshoot it, but it seems like the wire going to the house might have a break in it or a short or something. So, yeah, because I'm getting full power here, and I was seeing full voltage at the house, but the charge controller was showing virtually no power coming in. So I was like, well, okay, rather than messing around with it, I've got basically two channels coming in. So the big black panels are going through one charge controller because they're a high voltage, like 60 volts. And the rest of these are, 18 to 22, something like that. That's the Harbor Freights. So I was like, well, I got enough power for what I'm doing off of those, so rather than messing with it, I'm just going to let it be. And when I was looking at it, I'm like, well, shoot, if I can charge these guys with my up-converting charge controller, I can plug it directly into here. And this is way more solar than I normally had on the bike. Like when I had the solar on the roof, I only had 200 watts, and this is 320, so that's more. So charge it up while I'm home. I got a week off, not a big deal. And then when I go to work, if I take this, I can charge at work. When I get there, I'll just take the AC charger with me, charge it up. I got enough to get home and almost back to work, so I just top it off here again, and we're good. Yeah, anyway. So I figured, all right, if I can have lights, then I have an option. On my working days, I could come home at night. Normally, I've been staying at the motel. Over the winter, the days were short enough that I didn't have enough sun for solar, and I didn't have lights rigged up, so I didn't want to ride in the dark. And if I end up working late, then it would definitely be dark before I got home. Now that it's getting light again, I can do it this way. So that's where we're at. So yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm looking around at my gaggle of wires, and half of my wiring tools are at work. That was the other thing. So I found half of a pigtail that went from Anderson to XT60, and then I've got a jumper cable that was XT60 that's at least 10 feet long. So as long as I park close enough to here, I can just run a cable over to there. and then another random XT60 to spade terminals that was already made, so I just hooked it up. So now when I'm done, I'll leave that on there and I can just park over here and charge it up. Won't work at night, obviously, but normally I should have enough power coming in off of the solar to the house so that my batteries in the house could charge this if I needed to. So this was kind of a easy hack. I just didn't have enough tools here to cut off the charge, the blue ports, and put on Andersons. If I had that, then I could charge it that way. But I don't have that, so next time I go back to the motel, I'll grab the rest of my tools and I'll be able to do it then. Yeah, it's like every time I buy a 10-pack of Andersons, you blow through it instantly because it's going to be 1, 2, 3 on the batteries, and then I need to make a pigtail that'll have 3 on it, plus a 4th one to hook up to the charger. So we're like, oh crap, there's 7 out of 10 right there. You blow through the whole 10-pack. Yeah, but once you get it done, then it's done. Anyway, these batteries work great. So I don't know what they were from. It's a surplus battery. Probably some kind of battery-powered Trike or something. They're really nicely made. They have lithium iron phosphate prismatic cells inside, so they're kind of square with terminals on top, and then they just bolt them together. The terminal, let's see, it's like a 3.2 volt pack, and then they put enough together to make 48, so that's like 16 cells, I think. That battery's fairly heavy, 20, 30 pounds each or something like that, but it's perfect for here. So I just remade the back of the Trike to mount the batteries, and then I fixed the back, so then I got a black storage tote I put on the back, and I can just run a bungee or a cargo strap on that, and we're done. So yeah, anyway, some bleach bottles to semi-waterproof the electrics. Yeah, this one here, it's a down converter that'll take the 48 volt battery and output 12. So that comes to this screw terminal, and that's what I'm running the lights off of. And then I've also got a buck converter that goes from 12 down to 5, so I can run some other stuff. And then I've got up here cigarette USB connector, so I can charge my phone, and that's running all the way up to the handlebars. I've also got, this was another option, I've got some bicycle lights that run off a USB. Okay, I can't get that back on now. And that's what I did on the bicycle, on the mountain bike. If I was going anywhere, put a light or two on the handlebars, and then I could just plug the light into the USB, and then it kept it fully charged, and that worked great. So I thought about that, but I'm like, well, shoot, this thing is already ugly enough. Let's put some lights on it, make it kind of fun looking. So, and then one didn't work. And of course, you take the time to extend the wire and solder it to a feed and everything, and then you find out it doesn't work. I'm like, I'm not going to take it apart again. It'll be there until forever. Or whatever. All right, that's it for now. Another beautiful day in paradise. It is about 75 degrees out here. This is the 3rd week of February, and I got a week off. And I'm making all kinds of use of it. I'm knocking out all kinds of projects here. So, yay! Thanks for watching. Bye for now. End transmission. All right. First time I'm testing this in the dark. We're a couple feet above ground because we're still in the house. I keep the Trike parked in the tinker shop in the back here where there's tools and whatnot. Anyway, I had the Trike outside today, and I had planned on leaving it out, but then it got cloudy, and I thought, well, I don't want to go out in the dark and then bring it back in if I don't have to. All right. Also, only one of the lights is really working. That one is considerably less bright than this one. All right. These look way better in the dark than I expected because they, in the daytime, I mean, they're not super bright, right? But yeah, that's... Also, I wanted to compare it. I've got a 20-volt flashlight, Harbor Freight. All right. So I can't lock the exposure on the cell phone camera. So that's the 20-volt flashlight, which I consider to be pretty good. If I was going, the Trike goes about 12 miles an hour. I would feel like I could see what's coming up pretty well with that. It's got a nice bright center spot, but it drops off it's like a pretty small center spot, and then kind of a in-between outer ring, but it's not very wide. Okay. So to go back, also you can see the strobe is going. So I'll turn on the switch. Now, short of actually dragging it down the ramp, I'm not all the way out. But if we look from in here, it's hitting the door. I got a pretty wide field of view here. Okay. And I feel like I'm seeing, actually my center spot is kind of in there. So I could aim the lights up a little bit higher. I purposely put them a little bit low so I wouldn't be blinding everybody. I mean, there's probably one car an hour out here, but still, it'd be nice to not blind people. Also, it's I don't have a high and a low because they're just off-road lights. I just want to see what it would be like from the other point of view. It's early enough in the year we don't have to worry about rattlesnakes, but I still don't know what else is going to get me out here, right? All right, so also you can see a motion light on the corner there. And we got a pretty full moon, but it's clouded. I don't know, that's not as bad as a headlight, I don't think. And considering there isn't all that much out here, and that's about a foot higher than it normally would be. So I think if somebody's coming and I want to be polite, all I'd have to do is angle myself towards the ditch a little bit and just stop and let them go by. Or from sitting, I can reach up and just put my hand over it also. So if I just, kind of partially covered it, even, half of it would be enough. And that's a bit of a, well, actually right here's the handlebar. So I could probably reach up and do that. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, this is actually better than I expected it to be. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Because I was hoping if it's not as good as my flashlight, the next thing I'd be doing is ripping the flashlight apart and using that instead. But I think the flashlight is a lot more focused. That's the gate out there. The camera exposure is getting thrown off by seeing that weird looking post thing. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with this. So, yay for that. I don't know if I can just not trip and get everything dragged back in here again. All right, shut the light off. Shut the strobe off. Shut the camera off. Edit and upload the video. Go. Oh yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.